employment of young people are very, very clear. The research we've done, the reports are out there, and if we address ourselves to those reports, then definitely we'll be hit in the right direction.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Bakari. That was a good bird's eye view into the situation in Sierra Leone. Mr. Yunusa Kanu. Mr. Yunusa Kanu from Saudi Arabia, are you there? I think we may have lost him there, but Bakari drew a focus to some of the very likely solutions to solving some of the issues with our youth in Sierra Leone, and that is basically narrowing it to the fact that there's a uniqueness to every young person's life in Sierra Leone. Some do exist in environments where there are opportunities, whether in a fishing community or in an agricultural-based community, whether it's in an area where there's potential for tourism. Many of them have potentials for different opportunities, but the fact is the opportunities are now opening up for them. So the solutions can be narrowed down to addressing those issues, and we can look at it from that perspective. I believe Mr. Yunusa Kanu may have joined us again. Mr. Yunusa Kanu, we want you to address the issue of or the topic itself. How do we harness the power and potential of Sierra Leone's youth?
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be one of the panelists in this wonderful meeting here or gathering. I would like to come in a bit differently because I want to look at things from a different perspective in a way. I think there is a lot of potentials, but the approach might need to be refined. What I mean here is that there is lack of organization, because I'm not so comfortable with the use of the word youth as a general term. I do believe it needs to be we need a breakdown when we're talking about youth, because, you know, we do have something like those who are youth, but they are currently enrolled in some kind of institutional learning. The needs of such youth might quite be different from those who are not educated, who are not, let me don't say educated, but who are not actually enrolled at the moment. Then we do have those who identify themselves again, and they fall within that age range. They may be graduates, but they are not employed. So their needs might also be different from those going to school, or those who are enrolled and are currently, studying. Then we have those who are qualified and are not employed. We have those who are self-employed in some kind of a trade. And then we have those who roam around the streets without any job, and there is no willingness to get a job or to get engaged in any income-generating something. So if we break down these four categories, then we might be able to come in with conducive, create a conducive environment through which these needs can be addressed. But when we sort of take it as a bulk, then the problem of organization comes in, and we tend to lose foresight as to how to address these problems. For example, a student going to school, or we might talk about holiday jobs to help, because I actually I'm a benefactor of holiday jobs during the time when I was going to school, and that made a difference. It was a kind of, it gave me that kind of self-confidence, and it was a kind of inspiration, because I considered myself as what I would like to be in future, sitting in an office, working, and that kind of thing. It provokes your ambition. I don't know whether people are getting me clearly.
Yeah, absolutely. We can hear you. Yeah, absolutely. We get you. We get you. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you have scholarships at home and abroad. These can be sorted out only for those enrolled in an institution of learning. Then you have foster parents for bright students who may be underprivileged but might need. This used to happen in our days. You see parents, well-to-do people, they might identify a boy struggling socially at home. They take him out and produce a conducive atmosphere for him to come to the city and be with them. He will be going back during holidays. These things, you can sort them out in an organized fashion. But if you come to those who are, like, for example, employed or self-employed youth engaged in a paid job, you sort of create another atmosphere. Like those with certificate, they can try to improve on their certificate by long-distance learning. The landscape becomes different because you might start to say now, what you have as a certificate might not be enough for the challenging future. You will need to get this and this and this to improve on yourself. If somebody, let's say, has got a lower certificate, you should go for something higher. When you look at graduates, there's something here about graduates and the way that they are being treated. I think we need to copy from the West something like a registration of all those who are graduates, who are qualified, get them registered. We have this perception that you can only get a job if you have the right connection. But if we think about organization, these things, this registry, where graduates register, and we know that they are there. We have a list published in newspapers. We know this is the number. You can see this might be a bone of contention where a government can identify that. I found this list. I found this long number of students, or graduates. I provided job for this number. This registration is something that we will tell whether there is any progress towards job provision. But if we just leave it like this, like the mining companies, when they came, you will see that a lot of youths were employed. But where can you get the tally? Where can you get the number that benefited from these things? Is there anybody taking any registry or something? So this is at least my own take. As for the idle, those who roam around the streets, I just wish we can just make the rural area, because we might need to separate between the urban and the rural. So in the rural area, you might need more energy, more effort, like agriculture. So you should make something like an attraction for them to go there than just roam around the streets. Yes, I think this is enough for now.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Kanu. Your points are well taken, and the issue is identifying youth based on their background. Your perception, basically, is that you estimated that, or kind of narrowed your focus on the fact that in identifying any kind of problems or issues with the youth in Sierra Leone, we need to look at their backgrounds, and that may help us in trying to analyze the situation and kind of trying to come up with solutions on that. Now,
the problem-solving approach.
Yes. We've heard basically from all the panelists at this particular stage. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Voices from the Diaspora, and our topic today is how do we harness the power and the potential of Sierra Leone's youth. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, just hang in there, and we'll be right back.
This program has been brought to you by African Sports Monthly Magazine, a digital online sports magazine for Africa, covering all sports disciplines across all of Africa, bringing you insights into the inner workings of sports across the continent. Check the latest edition out by visiting www.africansportsmonthly.com. Again, that is www.africansportsmonthly.com.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to Voices from the Diaspora. If you were not with us in the first segment, we welcome you to our program. Today we're addressing the problem of Sierra Leone's youth. We're addressing the topic, how do we harness the power and potential of Sierra Leone's youth? We know there's an issue with Sierra Leone's youth. Maybe a chronic one at that, because I wouldn't even say maybe. I think the fact is it's a chronic one because it has existed right through different regimes since independence up until now. We don't seem to find a way to find a solution to this problem, And if we do not find a way to solve our problems, then definitely the problem continues to exacerbate itself into the future. Our kids are the future. They are the future of our nation. The younger people are the future. In the next 5 to 10 years, in the next 20 years, the ones that are the youth, they're going to be leaders in a country. And so we need to try to find a way to empower them. Now, on the last segment, all our panelists gave their opinions on the topic itself and what it means to them, what their perception about the topic itself is. Several problems were identified: lack of role models, lack of opportunities, a lack of narrowing the focus on a particular area, and looking at the problem from not just a political standpoint, but from also a social standpoint, where ordinary citizens can actually step in to be solvers of some of these problems. So now we want to go back to the conversation with our panelists, and we want to address what are some of the issues and how can we solve some of these issues. Ms. Salone, you mentioned non-profit and aid and how that is how some folks that you know, and the fact that some people left the diaspora to go back home to serve, to contribute to society back home. And in your perspective, how can how can a person from the diaspora, help to solve the problems of Sierra Leone's youth through either non-profit or through some form of aid or actually going back home and serving? What is your perspective on this?
My perspective on that is I normally don't recommend anyone to start.
Can you speak up a little? Can you speak up a little louder, please?
No, I was saying I don't really normally recommend anyone to start a nonprofit organization on their own until they are well connected and have those resources to maintain that nonprofit organization. It's hard work, and most people think it's very easy, just fundraise here and there, but it's not. If you want to gain respect and you want to be a sustainable nonprofit organization, it takes a lot of work. And for me, I feel as though it's not the only way to give back to Sierra Leone or to the community or to the youth back home in Sierra Leone. My thing is, I haven't been to Sierra Leone since I was a little girl. I plan to make a visit pretty soon. I would more appreciate seeing young people go back home, and you don't need $50,000 to go back home to start a business. You can go back home with about, let's say, 10, even if that, and start something on your own where you can employ young people in Sierra Leone. You can give back to the economy itself. You can bring in revenue to the country. We can begin to develop Sierra Leone together little by little. And I truly believe in inspiration. I truly believe inspiration is one key that is really going to get our youth up and going. And I certainly agree with mostly everything everyone has said on this call, from Mr. Milton to Mr. Bakari. Everybody has great ideas and valid points, especially with identifying, what our youth can bring to our country. And there's a lot. Just like Mr. Kelvin Doe, he got a special invite to MIT simply because he's such he's like an electronic genius. He produced his own radio show, got his own FM wave on the radio without government, no one knowing. So the potential is there for these kids to become great people, but they just need to be inspired in some way. And I believe going back home and serving as that role model, serving as an inspiration, will definitely harness the youth.
Thank you very much. The point that you just raised is something that was in the back of my mind about creating employment opportunities, because you initially mentioned non-profits in aid, and as far as I'm concerned, I think Africa itself is tired of the issue with AIDS. I mean, I think